Hi, everyone. So let's do a collective reading to try to capture as much of the energy around us as we can. I'd like to start with an Astro House dice just to see what energy we're meant to work with. And we rolled the second house. So the second house is about our resources. It's the tangible things that we have, including our money and our assets. So we'll see what that has to do with. This could end up being a money reading or perhaps a career reading. So let's get an Alice card. So this says, never jam today. Promises that never come to be, empty words, and not living in the now. So this could be about perhaps a career, money, that it feels like it's never coming in. It feels like maybe you do the same thing day in and day out, but it doesn't come to any real fruition. And then we have stop focusing on time frames. So it could be because you're not living in the now, because we got that from the Never Jam Today card, that if you're not living in the now and you're focused on what's going to happen tomorrow, if you're always focused on what's going to happen tomorrow, then that is going to delay things and it may even slow things down. And even if you're just perceiving it as slowing things down, if you're thinking too much about something or if you're wishing too hard for something to come in, even the perception of this thing is going to slow down. So let's ask the tarot. So we have Two of Swords, Four of Cups. Those are giving me similar energies, but we'll get into it. The World, which I'm going to flip over. Seven of Pentacles. Underneath, King of Wands, Ten of Wands, Ten of Swords, the Hierophant. Wow, we had a pretty similar reading yesterday, which makes sense because the energy doesn't change that quickly anyway. Underneath everything, we have the Judgment card, and I'm going to flip that one over too. But with Judgment being under everything, it does make me feel like you are very good at holding a lot of space and a lot of love for people, the things, the situations around you, but perhaps it's time for you to start pouring that love into yourself. The Judgment card is about making a high level decision, a high level judgment call based in your highest self and not in your 3D lower realm. So this is really about choosing you, but it's under the deck. It was underneath everything. So it makes me feel like you're not really choosing you in this situation. Because I can tell that you are stuck. And because we rolled the second house, which is about our productivity, it's about our practicality, it's about our resources, this does make me feel like this is somehow related to your work, the work that you do, perhaps projects that you work on. But I think there's a person in your energy coming through as the King of Wands who's making you feel stuck. And I just saw 333 as I said that. So the King of Wands is often my card for boss, especially if I feel like this is a work or career related kind of reading. So I do feel like there's something that you're stuck, that you feel like you can't move something forward. But the Two of Swords is asking you to use both your intuition and your intellect in order to push this thing forward. It feels to me like there's an ending coming in here, but it does require you to see something when it comes to this person or this project. There's something that you're holding on to something. You're perhaps focused on the wrong things. You're maybe thinking this should have happened by now, but you're maybe not looking at the reason that you are stuck. And they're coming in the form of a King of Wands person. So it feels like there's turmoil with this person. There's some kind of trouble, but you weren't expecting it. This is someone who you thought was going to be on your side, or someone who maybe made you false promises, because we did see promises that never come to be, empty words. So, but you weren't expecting that, because when someone makes you a promise, you tend to think that they're good on their word, because most people are generally. So when this person made you empty promises, it was very unexpected. So then but you're being challenged to really see this clearly. The Four of Cups is telling me that you may be ignoring the fact that you have taken on far too much responsibility when it comes to whatever this is for you. I feel like you're probably very deeply hurt by this, or somehow feeling lost by this, or in some kind of despair, because I'm seeing the Ten of Swords. But you're not, it feels like you're not really being honest with yourself about that with this Four of Cups, that you're just kind of ignoring the signs that are around you. And I feel like this Four of Cups and this Ten of Wands is asking you to reflect on this situation, but it feels like you're not. You're not really using your intuition to see through to the heart of this matter, or the truth of this person or this situation that's keeping your progress from moving forward because there were false promises involved. The World and the Ten of Swords are both signifiers of endings. The World is telling you to wrap this up, that this couldn't get any worse. The Ten of Swords is about as bad as it gets. And so this is saying to really see the truth. See the truth. You're not seeing it here. You're not seeing it here. But it's really time to conclude this, to see the truth in a situation that may be deliberately confusing. And especially with this Ten of Swords here, it just doesn't feel, it just feels very out of balance. And that there's a need for you to really bring this back into equilibrium. And these Four Cups are very stable energy, but you're not seeing something. You're not seeing what will stabilize this. And the message that's coming through is by putting an end to it. But I see you perhaps investing in something else. So we have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is about contentment and satisfaction. So it may be that at one point this King of Wands person brought you some kind of contentment or satisfaction. Maybe initially the things that they told you, the promises that they made to you, maybe they did fulfill them for a while. But it seems like you weren't expecting it to stop. So if you were promised promotions or a certain salary, and then for a while you were getting things or small increases, but you never really got that thing that was promised to you, that's what I feel like is keeping you stuck, because you're wondering if that's still going to come in. Then we have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is about respect and about balance. And that's what we're saying, that I'm not seeing that. It feels like it's like you're struggling to get balance in this situation. It's very much off balance if you're carrying all 10 wands. So for example, if you're doing all the work in this position or the situation or this project, but someone else is getting the money or the credit or the recognition, that's where it's off balance. And I feel like that's the struggle. This is not a respectful relationship, and it's certainly not a balanced relationship. And it's probably someone who promised you a lot of things, but never really followed up on it. Then we have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is very authentic and very virtuous. So I feel like this is saying to really draw on that inner Queen of Cups energy of yours. I remember saying with the Judgment card that it feels like you hold a lot of space for other people, but I feel like it's time for you to focus on you, to make a strong commitment to yourself. And in so doing, putting an end to whatever these shenanigans are, where this person's sitting on their throne collecting all the money, but you're the one carrying all the wands. That's where I feel like it's time to focus on you. It's time to pour that work and that energy and that effort back into you. And I see you doing that. I see you investing perhaps in something else, perhaps in a different company, a different project, this could just be you investing in your own spirituality. That's going to be different for everybody. But I see you doing that, because then we have the Magician, and the Magician is about synchronicity and about manifestations. So I feel like once you put a final end to whatever this unbalanced situation is, I feel like that's when your manifestations can really start to come in. And you won't be focusing on time frames anymore. You'll be focusing on what's best for you and how to pour into yourself and how to put all this effort into yourself, and ending this pretty toxic situation where someone looks like they're probably taking advantage of you and keeping you stuck. that's when your manifestations can all start coming in, because you're no longer focused on getting it done, getting it done, getting it done. You're more focused on, how do I fix this? And then all of a sudden it starts getting done. That's when your manifestations really can start to come in. So there you go. That is our collective reading. Will you please let me know how this was resonant for you? Consider subscribing to the channel if you like my vibe, and we will do this again sometime. Thanks, everybody. Bye.